I remember when I walked here on Pesach to say Yizkor for people who asked me to say their names and pray on their behalf. I came to a shul that was empty. No one is here. And I prayed. And yes, it was a meaningful prayer. But there was no one here to pray with.
We walked into the building and everything was right, but everything was so wrong. We walked into the sanctuary and I stood in my usual place and davened, and Shaya was at his, and it just was a very, very powerful experience that reminded me how much I rely on and how much I feed off of and how much I need our community.
What's a shul without a community? What's a building without noise in the hallways, without people singing along in the prayers, without having a community to pray with? When I realized that the community as we know it cannot continue during this coronavirus, we realized that we have to shift gears and reach out to the community in a way that we never knew before.
We've always known that it's never been about what was easiest. We always needed to do what was right, what suited the goals and what suited the mission to what we're dedicated to. And that was going to be our guiding light.
So we right away had to offer classes on Zoom and offer videos and offer packages to people's homes and drop it off for the different holidays. Everything we could do for the community so that we could bring the programs to them instead of them coming to us, because that's not possible during this time.
And it was evident that with Corona, there was also the silver lining that came out. So many people, when we started featuring challah baking classes online, it was so heartwarming to see how many parents wanted to participate and consistently did participate in challah baking, but it wasn't just for the challah, because we saw so many people who were then posting pictures of their table that was set up for Shabbat and how special and meaningful it was.
People started becoming more thirsty to become part of a community, and suddenly, instead of becoming smaller, we actually started growing.
So I'll never forget one of those first days into Corona, and it became clear that school wasn't going to be reopening. I'll never forget that day when Shai and I were sitting down having a heart-to-heart conversation. What do? Do we stop the construction of the playground? And I have to tell you, it broke my heart to even have this conversation. The responsible thing, I have to say, would have been to stop the playground. The cost of construction at a time when we were so vulnerable made no sense. But we've never taken the attitude or the approach that we did what was easier. We have to stay true to our goals, and at Chabad, that is what we do. And if our goals are a high-quality learning environment, if our goals are about bringing Judaism to our families, if our goals are about creating community, that hasn't changed. I'll never forget that day when we came back and to see the parents as they began to pull up and to watch them as they came. The feeling was so emotional, was so exciting. My family's back. Chabad's a family, and our family has come back.
Now we have a much deeper appreciation that it's all about the people. It's all about each and every individual person. We realize that this building is not about the building itself, but about the people who come into the building. It's them who make Chabad special.
I look and I think how badly I'm yearning for that day, and hopefully it should be soon, that our Chabad family truly comes back to its home and comes back to each other. Because that's the way we're meant to be.